Hi there, friends. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about a rumor, piece of history that's been going around for many, many, many years. And that rumor is that back in the day, in the early 80s, Nintendo approached Atari, and Atari said no to distributing the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Now, that part is true, but the part that everybody thinks was a mistake is that they thought that Atari should have said yes to distributing the Nintendo Entertainment System. And I'm going to read a passage out of a book, this book right here called Business is Fun by Marty Goldberg and Kurt Vendel. If you don't already have it, I suggest you get it. It's a really good book. Hopefully you'll understand by the end of that why Atari did not distribute the Nintendo Entertainment System and why it was a really smart move on their part to not distribute it. So when I'm done, you tell me if you think that Atari should have gone ahead and gone through with the deal. So Atari had already been in talks with Nintendo since April about handling the worldwide release of their own soon-to-launch Japanese console, the Family Computer, or Famicom. Don Tyser reports back that during a trip out to Japan, Nintendo had demonstrated to him a very crude game of Donkey Kong, supposedly being played on what would become the production Famicom hardware. The proposed deal from Nintendo could best be viewed as one of the most one-sided licensing deals any company would ever engage into. Essentially, in typical Japanese pride and style, Nintendo's generous terms would include them engineering all the electronics and PC board design, with Atari simply allowed to design the plastic case and packaging. To add to that, Nintendo would be the sole source of programming the cartridges, charging Atari for the programming, and only Nintendo would be allowed to manufacture consoles and the cartridges, selling them to Atari, and Atari would also pay Nintendo for the license. Plus, it would all have to be agreed to very quick so Atari could meet Nintendo's demand of having it out by Christmas. If the thought of this type of deal leaves you clutching your bottom side, feeling violated, many at Atari felt the same way about it. Atari would basically just be selling Nintendo's product for them in the US and the rest of the world under the Atari brand name, but it'd be Nintendo's product and Nintendo making all the money. So, after reading that, do you still think that it would have been a great idea for Atari to have released the Nintendo product here in America? I mean, it wouldn't have been much different than Nintendo just going ahead and doing it themselves. They would have made all the money anyways. Atari just would have been their little do-boy going ahead and selling the product. So hopefully that will dispel a lot of the stories or myths that Atari made a mistake by not selling the Nintendo here. They would have been totally screwed on that deal. So if you have any thoughts on this, go ahead and leave a comment, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. If you want to learn more about Atari's history, I suggest you get a copy of this book, which is called Atari Incorporated Business is Fun by Marty Goldberg and Kurt Vendel. It's really an awesome book. I read it cover to cover in a very short amount of time because it's just so interesting. If you're interested in Atari history, I suggest you pick up a copy of this book. I guarantee you will learn a lot of things that you've never even thought of.